A very good evening. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. Thank you for tuning in for UBC News tonight. My name is Sharon Chomdisha with Mgalu Mohammed on sign language. We will take a look at the headlines today. Coming up, Prime Minister Nabanja hails President Museveni for entrusting women in leadership. Right Reverend Wilson Chiseka enthroned Bishop of Luweero Diocese. And still to come, Christians commemorate Palm Sunday with a call on the youth to be steadfast. National Council of Sports eyes the future and underlines plans to tap into grassroots. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV, and my name once again is Sharon Chomdisha with Mgalu Mohammed on sign language. Now, top stories of the day. Premier Nabanja has lauded President Yoweri Museveni for retaining her as the Prime Minister. This was after joining Christians at Our Lady of Lourdes, Bujumbura Cathedral in Hoima City to celebrate Palm Sunday at a mass celebrated by the Bishop of Hoima Catholic Diocese, Right Reverend Bishop Vincent Chirabo Amoti.
Nabanja joined Christians at Our Lady of Lourdes, Bujumbura Cathedral in Hoima City, where she thanked President Museveni for retaining her as the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda. Nabanja, who was joined by the State Minister for Public Service, Mary Grace Mugasa, said reappointment in various positions is a sign of confidence and dedication in serving Ugandans.
Ekimbaire ninyendera Prime Minister natuleye kisanja omubwomezi wa Uganda niwe Prime Minister omukazi abandizi. Uganda is doing a lot for the country. Ekana nageno mu rujungu koko mumanyire government yaitu ekola ebintu bingi ebimumanyire na hano Hoima.
Nabanja appealed to Ugandans to embrace the government programs.
Abantu baitu bakarugo mbuna program ya PDM abantu ba Hoima tukubasaba mujumbire program.
The Bishop of Hoima Catholic Diocese, Right Reverend Vincent Chirabo, thanked President Yoweri Museveni for the support he accords to the church.
Tusaba kuongera kukiaho President okusima kwaitu abokusagika kandi no kuongera kumusaba aikale na abatana yitwe.
He also acknowledged the role played by women in the development of the country.
Mama Prime Minister, abakazi batukolere kikoto muno. Mbomezi bwaitu.
Later, the Prime Minister donated 50 million shillings towards the ongoing construction of the Hoima Women and Children Specialized Hospital.
Kuhereza emilioni 5 abuli muruka kandi etakahoire yongere wereze milioni 5 nizo milioni 10 keti twawereze omwaka oguhoire tukubasaba abebembezi inywena abakujunanizibwa kururango esente ezo zaika abantu abakuzeetaka.
Benon Mukwaya, Kasoha Ismail, UBC.
A group from the National Unity Platform, NUP, in Kakomiro District have defected to the National Resistance Movement Party. They were led by Geoffrey Sebugwao, who pronounced to the Prime Minister's country home in Kakomiro Town Council, Kakomiro District.
The group comprises majorly the youth who accused their party of not helping them to prosper. Several NUP members were welcomed to the NRM by the Prime Minister and were adorned with yellow shirts and t-shirts and officially joined the party.
Wiremu kuyinduka kurugo mu kitebe kya NUP ataro ankakiri kusigikira tusawulirize mu NUP kwe kutambuza imikore yayo abasigazi tetutungiremu oyira okutwinaza na kutubuzaabuza.
Mbadde chairman wa NUP nati olwaleero nyindukire ngalukire mu NRM ensonga emu Bobi Wine abeera tatufaawo itwa abantu b'omukyala ba wansi.
The members had various reasons why they had decided to abandon NUP and join NRM.
Olunaku olwaleero ntungira omugisa mwingi kubaza na Prime Minister kumpa bulamu hali ekibiina kyembeiremu ekya NUP nti ekibiina ekyo nkibeiremu ndi omu bukyamu ntakamanyire nti ndi mu bukyamu baitu kuluga olunaku olwaleero lwanyesire yangambira amazima nti ndi mu bukyamu nasalawo nkole ki nkiwuke nti kandi ekibiina kyonyine nti bakweri enkuta.
The Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja assured them that President Yoweri Museveni and the NRM government wants them to prosper.
Ijweri Kurora Segona chairman wa paka aina milioni 18 ezili mu motoka akoja motoka zilimu 18 pocket change bakubagamba bo bakubonabona bakubanisa na kyemalira abana abakoje emotoka bayiruka nazo ate bali kubahambya bakubasi
zirangirwa basuma azine
ati nyo muliyo mukuwagira
machwanda konka bene bawagira ne baguruka muno baitu batamanyire nkawo bakulaba
mpuga ijweri milioni zinga
5.
Nabbanja asked the youth to be optimistic and embrace government programs.
Museveni oye.
Oye.
Movement oye.
Oye.
Nabbanja oye.
Ekyo werekere. Oye.
Ati omwaka gwe 2021 kajja kyakajanja. Nasanga ekisani ekyo kitimbiro mu town. Nabuuza chairman Lutalo ekandi kino. Yangamba abasigazi bakajjanu mbazira kabakolamu omulimu bawakanize baitu bakuwagira nabakanyo batampagira nanyo mukijuka kabaga nanyo mutampagira
baitu akuwagira lwampa.
Nabbanja asked the youth to be firm in the NRM party, which is stable and progressive.
The newly enthroned Bishop of Luweero Diocese, Right Reverend Wilson Chiseka, has been challenged to embrace teamwork and foster reconciliation among the already divided flock as the only way of restoring sanity in the diocese. This has been sounded at St. Mark's Cathedral in Luweero District at the consecration of Right Reverend Wilson Chiseka, 4th Bishop of Luweero Diocese.
It is 8:30 a.m. of Sunday, 24th March 2024, and this procession of clergy marks the beginning of consecration service of the Bishop-elect Luweero Diocese, Reverend Canon Wilson Chiseka. Led by the Archbishop Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, all has happened at St. Mark's Cathedral in Luweero District. And thereafter, the consecration service commenced with the Michana Bishop, Right Reverend James Bukomeko, reading the Gospel, and Bishop Michael Wa of Central Uganda being the day's preacher.
Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.
Be the Father to everyone. Because God has called you to be the Father of everyone. And dear Bishop-elect, you will use your voice in your own words to invite Reverend Godfrey Kasana to come back. That you work together because you need him and he needs you. Take a step of faith that when you call him, he will come back. Just as Bishop-elect Chiseka, as he is calling Canon Kasana, forgive each other. You Christians forgive each other.
In a church filled to capacity by both clergy and Christians, at 10:40 a.m., the Bishop-elect Canon Wilson Chiseka took an oath of acceptance of the new role.
I, Reverend Canon Wilson Chiseka, I swear that I will pay true
and canonical obedience to the Archbishop of Church of Uganda.
This was under the watch and seal of the Archbishop Church of Uganda, Right Reverend Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mukalu.
I hereby declare to you that the Right Reverend Wilson Seka has been duly enthroned, in testimony of which
the enthronement calls for, among others, handing over the new bishop the instruments of power and authority as he makes repeated concessions.
I, Reverend Canon Wilson Seka, I declare that I will be bound by the Constitution and the canons of the Church of Uganda.
In both addresses by the bride and Archbishop, it was emphasized that the Church thrives on unity and prayers.
I want to appeal to you, Bishop, and the friends of the Savior Jesus Christ. Forgive one another, just as Christ has forgiven you.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni delegated the Works and Transport Minister, General Katumba Wamala, to represent him.
I commend religious institutions for their role played in mobilization to raise our people's standards of living and their efforts to promote unity and harmony among the people of Uganda.
Museveni, however, challenges religious leaders to stretch their gospel beyond worship and prayers.
As believers, we have other human needs that must be satisfied that include food, clothing, shelter, education, and medicine. And failure to attain these, one is considered to be living in poverty.
Museveni, however, extended a 50 million pledge as well as a vehicle to the incoming shepherds to ease his duties. Other members of the congregation included Minister Amos Lugolobi, Right Reverend Lawrence Mukasa, the Bishop of Kasana Luweero, Uganda Lukiiko Speaker Patrick Luwaga Mugumbule, among others. Luweero Diocese has not only been under the caretaker of Bishop William Sebagala, but for a while has been engulfed in disputes arising from the nullification of Canon Reverend Godfrey Kasana, who was the first bishop-elect chosen to follow the footsteps of retired Reverend Eldad Nsubuga, the third bishop of this administration. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Robert Onyango. In more stories, youth in Uganda are challenged to utilize the Holy Week to widen opportunities in securing employment. Former Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, Florence Nachiwala Chinji, says that getting close to God is complementary to acquiring employable skills. This was during the Palm Sunday Mass at Lubaga Cathedral in Kampala.
The procession leading to Lubaga Cathedral on Palm Sunday started from the neighboring Centenary Bank. Congregants in their hundreds were here to celebrate one of the most important days in the Christian calendar. They were joined by former State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Florence Nachiwala Chinji.
Omukama Katonda yanzigula amatu era sajeema sadda amabega gange nagalekera abankuba.
The mass was led by Father Stephen Mayanja, the assistant cathedral administrator. The messages rotated around renewing relationships with God.
Omukama asaba tujjemu ebyo ebifunzizza eddiiro lyaffe. Omukama anoonya eddiiro wanaalira Pasika. Twekebere emitima gyaffe. Omukama ayinza okugamba nti mugende ewagundi gye naalira Pasika. Kebera mu mutima gwo. Yinza okuba mulimu ebifunzizzaamu. Effutwa obubbi, obulimba, obulyake, omululu, obutabanamizi, obuseegu, obusamize n'ebirala nga bireetedde emitima gyaffe okufunda.
This was emphasized by the Cathedral Administrator, Father Achilles Mayanja, in agreement with other leaders.
This week is so important that without this week, the Christian faith is nothing. Because in this week, we remember and we reenact the suffering, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
You can be saved from the main killer diseases. So this is the holy month which gives back to the Christians. So everybody out there should come to Rubaga Cathedral. Everybody should kneel down and pray. Everybody should fast so as to answer the main questions of unemployment and poor health.
Former State Minister for Youth, Florence Nakiwala Kinji, told youth to embrace spiritual living to widen economic opportunities.
This is the holy month that Ugandans should use to sort out the main hazards in the country like unemployment and poor health. We want to plead to the youth and the young people to go back to God, to pray so hard that you can meet the person who can employ you.
Palm Sunday ushers in the Holy Week, which culminates into Easter Sunday celebrations. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Because it's Palm Sunday, Christians have been asked to know the meaning of Palm Sunday and to their lives other than just celebrating the day. This was communicated by the Provost from All Saints Nairobi, the Very Reverend Canon Evans Omolo, who was the guest preacher at All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero.
On Palm Sunday, Christians remember the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem. Today, Christians gathered in big numbers at All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero, to commemorate Palm Sunday. The guest preacher, the Very Reverend Canon Evans Omolo from Nairobi, asked Christians to know the meaning of Palm Sunday, other than just carrying the palms to church and commemorating that day.
It's a stubborn invitation to each one of us here, the young and the old, the rich and the not so rich, to the lowly and the high. To those of you who have different formations of human body, the thin and the little endowed, this Palm Sunday invites us to pursue peace at all fronts in our lives. Peace with self, peace with family, peace with neighbors, peace with colleagues at work, peace with churchmates.
Reverend Canon Omolo also asked Christians to renew their lives unto Jesus.
And so Jesus is the King. And when he is the King, he deals with anything that threatens the peace of his kingdom. And so your life is a representation of the dwelling of Jesus Christ. Because you are anchored in the Lord Jesus Christ. So if you're a believer here, who's been on the verge of giving up because of negativity pushed against you, this man from Nairobi stands here to encourage you to remain firm in the Lord.
Minister for Investment Evelyn Anita and Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives David Bahati also attended the service.
Is that we must love one another and we must make peace with our enemies. So if you're out there and you don't love anyone because of political reasons, because of social reasons, I just want to ask all of us to forgive and make peace. And peace is the only way we can prosper in our lives.
As we join the Holy Week, we pray that God will guide us and direct us to have peace with our family, to have peace with our communities, and have peace within the nation.
The minister thanked God for their reappointment as ministers by the president in the recent cabinet reshuffle.
And it is for the hard work that I get rewarded. I want to ask God that as I start this journey, that I'm able to work more harder for the prosperity of my country, the growth of the economy, because I am in charge of attracting FDI and encouraging the domestic investors to invest their money in the right places.
We first of all want to thank him for personally retaining me in the cabinet, and we have a commitment that we'll continue to do what we can to our best to ensure that we industrialize our nation.
Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Christians have been tasked to uphold Christian values ahead of the Holy Week. Reverend Ephraim Byamukama of St. John's Church of Uganda in Luzira says that Christian principles like loving one another, giving to the needy, forgiveness, and desisting from evil practices should be observed. Reverend Ephraim made the remarks while leading Palm Sunday prayers.
Christians of St. John's Church of Uganda, Luzira, have celebrated the triumphant entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. During the celebrations, Reverend Ephraim Byamukama tasked Christians to remain faithful and uphold Christian values ahead of the Holy Week.
I think this Holy Week calls us to humility in repentance, to ask God to forgive us. And each of us, because we are human, we are very weak. We are very weak in all ways, in all spheres. So we need this Holy Week. God is calling us to worship Him in humility.
Palm Sunday is celebrated in Christian tradition as the day Jesus entered Jerusalem as a sign of win over evil. The Christians expected to observe religious principles like forgiveness, offer to the needy, and be kind to each other.
Triumphant entry and the rest of the week and the rest of your life. Worship the Lord in humility, meaning you don't have to look at your status, you don't look, to look and belittle others. Worship the Lord in humility.
The faithful who turned up expressed commitment, say Lent has taught them lessons on Christian life.
So today is really very, very important that as we wait for the day is going to be sacrificed, it really makes us recall all the life He has done on this earth.
Christians during this Holy Week, the message that I give them is a message of love, a message of forgiveness, a message of oneness, a message of sharing, the alms. Let us visit the sick, let us visit those who are in prisons.
Today indeed is a great day. Biblically we see that our Lord Jesus Christ is on this day that He triumphantly marched into the city of Jerusalem. So with us all also being there on this day, I will call it historically and something that stays and will stay ever to the end of the world, we should be triumphant when we come to the church.
Palm Sunday ends the fasting period and marks into the Holy Week, which culminates into Easter. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Palm Sunday is annually celebrated by Christians in remembrance of the triumphant entry of Jesus into Jerusalem ahead of crucifixion. At St. James Church, Kawanda, the vicar of Chidiagonja Parish, Reverend Bobson Musamali, tasked Christians on holy living.
Palm Sunday is a time when Christians commemorate Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. At St. James Church of Uganda, Kawanda, Christians gathered in church with palm leaves to celebrate the day ahead of Easter. The main celebrant, Reverend Bobson Musamali, asked Christians to live a changed life after the rain season and embrace God's word.
The son of David, the king of Israel, is coming. Praise God. Because they were expecting a king who will save them from the what? From the suffering. Jesus has come to wash your outcry. Some of you are having a lot of challenges in life. Some of you are bewitched. Some of you are the ones that are keeping the vajaja. So let Jesus help us as He enters the city. Let Him clean us, clean our temple. And you are the temple of God. If you are the temple of God, Jesus is ready to clean that temple. Surrender your life to Him and say, Lord, here I am.
The lead of St. James Church of Uganda, Kawanda, Samuel Chibalama, encouraged Christians to continue praying even after the rain season.
We bless the Lord for the far He has brought us, that today, Palm Sunday, marks 40 days in the Lenten period. It means this is the end of our Lenten period. However, we encourage Christians that even in this Holy Week, let us continue in prayer and fasting for these remaining days to Easter, and that the good Lord will bless us abundantly and He will answer our prayers.
Deborah Namamonde, Nancy Beatrice, UBC News.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Have you packed Morvin's Harbour Jelly and Harbour Foam? Yes, we packed. It will protect your skin from skin rashes. Morvin's pack. It is a new improved Morvin's Harbour Jelly. So soft and smooth. It is a Morvin's Harbour Jelly.
Tell me, kids, the scent. Any irritations? No more rashes and irritations. Movit Herbal Jelly and Herbal Soap is rich in natural herbs for a smooth and glowing skin.
Movit All Day Confidence.
Are you planning or in the process of traveling abroad for work? Using irregular channels to find and travel for work abroad often seems cheaper and faster, but you risk being trafficked, mistreated, or forced to do work you did not agree to. Using proper channels is safer, offers more protection, and better access to support services when problems arise. Do not be deceived. Choose the proper channels. Always verify all information before traveling abroad for work by contacting the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, your local district labour office or DSOS office. You can also visit EEMIS website on eemis.mglsd.go.ug. This message is brought to you by the International Labour Organization with support from the Government of Switzerland.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. We continue with our stories where the Director of NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, who has urged the youth to exercise caution in the use of social media platforms. Seninde was speaking at a blood donation event hosted at the Shichenjo Church of Jesus, which coincided with the 40th anniversary celebration and HWPL's declaration of peace and cessation of war commemoration in Chebando.
Director of NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, has condemned sale of blood in hospitals, calling for ethical practices in healthcare institutions.
Kubanga oli bwabanga yawa ku musaayi n'agenda mu ddwaliro maama we mulwadde ne bamugamba agugule olulala tajja kuddamu kudonatinga. No, I agree with you. Naye all that is corruption. So that is the kind of corruption we are talking about, and we need to fight.
She stressed community service, urging the youth to engage in meaningful endeavors and contribute to society.
We have brought yoga, we have brought parish development model as our flagship programs for this term, and many other programs, resources that have been given to the youth previously and continue to be given to the young people to empower them economically. But because their mindset is different and their perception towards all this that are given to them is different, they tend to think that this money is just given to it.
The blood donation drive, organized by the Chichanji Church of Jesus, provided a timely opportunity for individuals to donate blood to save lives. Seninde urged the youth to exercise caution in their use of social media platforms.
The world in which we are living is so changed, particularly the social media and all other things in it have changed our youth, that their mindset is so different. The way they look at things, the way they perceive the world is totally different. They no longer respect cultures, they no longer even understand what the Bible teaches us.
As the event coincided with the 40th anniversary celebration of the Chichanji Church of Jesus and the commemoration of the 8th anniversary of HWPL's declaration of peace and cessation of war.
Our Chichanji Church of Jesus Uganda Church, through this education, we want a saint know the will of God, make them to have the correct faith. We are supporting this.
The event served as a reminder of the importance of peace building and conflict resolution. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has commended the Insurance Training College for partnering with the Ministry of Education and Sports in implementing the new curriculum. The Insurance Training College will expand services to other regions to train the young generation on insurance policies.
Only 1% of Ugandans, according to the statistics of 2023, have access especially to medical insurance, which needs the Insurance Training College to intervene and increase on the numbers of Ugandans accessing insurance policies. Following this, the Insurance Training College in the country has been encouraged to consider expanding their services in the country. This was contained in the speech for the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, read to her by the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, during the second annual secondary schools insurance competitions.
I want to support it because it is all I've always been asking myself, why has learning become so interesting? Because of the change in the methodology, because of the creativity the other people have been, because of the problem-solving skills they have acquired.
Over 38 secondary schools participated in the quiz competitions. Dr. Muyingo commended the Insurance Training College for supporting the ministry in implementing the national curriculum. The principal Insurance Training College, Saul Selemba, says they are working tirelessly to continue sensitize the young generation on insurance policies.
Insurance Training College is now to train the teachers who are training our students so that they are knowledgeable when it comes to insurance, and we started on this journey. Now we believe the contest brings in the favor. It now interests the young people to learn insurance, but in a fun way.
Sudat Kaye and Fred Kasibante, UBC News.
State Minister for Lands Dr. Sam Mayanja has ordered RDC Chiriadongo's local police, the UPDF from the neighboring Masindi district, to give full protection to families living in the government-owned ranch 11 until the ongoing ownership wrangles are fully resolved. State Minister for Lands Dr. Sam Mayanja visited Chiriadongo district, where he convened a meeting for residents from 2 villages of Chimogolo A and B from Ranch 11.
Ranch 11 covers Mutunda and Chiriandongo sub-counties, is claimed by 5 different parties, including former first son Taban Amin, an investor named Mahazi, together with a local businessman Musa Faraji, residents who have lived on the land for over 3 decades, and those who came much later.
Aliwo ekibinja ekyali kikulembera omulimu guno abataka mukimanyi. Abantu bano n'abaza gavumenti ya NRM kubanga bagoberede bonna bali mukomera.
Sida yenyu amefika paka kwa rais ya kwetu. The President of the Republic of Uganda.
During a locust visit, State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, explained to the residents that as settlers on the land, they have a right to stay and get titles or accept compensation in case the government wants to give out the land to the investor.
Mwe musalawo oba mutunda oba temutunda. To giving away Ranch 11 to the investor, I've quoted the law. The law is very clear. Section 59(1)(a) of the Land Act. Land which is already owned by an individual, so it cannot be. It's not available for allocation. Therefore, this land was not available for allocation.
He ordered the RDC, Chiriandongo, and all security bodies to provide security to the residents, and if they wish to have the land handed to the investor, and if so, the government has to look for another land, equip it with schools, hospitals, and water, and ensure that all people are resettled.
The RDC is in charge, is a representative of the president in conjunction working with the commandant of the Masirari Artillery Regiment. They have already put the entire situation under control.
Honorable Mayanja also reassured that the people who were injured during a recent scuffle over the land will be fully compensated by the government, and all these involved will face the courts of law.
Those who were injured during the scuffles, they have been looked after after government. They are all under treatment, and adequate compensation is going to be made.
During the highly attended meeting, the area MP Jacob Karobanga Atenyi said the Chibyama and Nubian communities who are occupying this ranch have been called for meetings to discuss their choices. He also accused the investor of compromising some of the community leaders while ignoring the interests of the people.
Has been dealing with are the official people when those are not when those are actually impositors. I will repeat it. Kwenda kaguza waitu. President Mulamba soborata kueleza itaka abantu be. Hati jori bakagenda bakaliba yaho as NRM. Is that possible?
On his part, Dan Muganga, the Chiriandongo RDC, said several government officials have intervened in this matter over the past years. Meanwhile, Mrs. Fiona Birungi, the president's personal assistant on general duties, said her office had been petitioned by the residents, which compelled her to get Minister Dr. Sam Mayanja to intervene.
Kansara, nga sinamaliriza, njagala kugamba nti ojja kufuna justice. Era kiripu yo, nengeri gye bakukuba. Presidential advisor, senior presidential advisor, Kabayo Grace, we agisindika n'agamba naye nyabo. Boyambo no tomulaba. Era natandika okugezaako. I have been in touch with this gentleman.
Some of the victims accused Taban Amin of torturing them.
Abatana kukwatibwa ate nga basula wa muganda wange oyo wenyine yankuba ngera balabikira wenyine mu ka video mwebali
nga beefura bannamawulire waliwo abajja beefura nti bajja kutuyamba naye nga Tabani yabatuma.
Jamil Sekaja, Benon Mukwaya, UBC News.
Now, the government of Uganda, through Ministry of Education and Sports, is planning to introduce compulsory universal primary education that is expected to commence in the 2025 academic year. This was disclosed by the State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Moriko Kaduchu, who represented Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, during a retreat by National Association of Municipal and District Education Officers held at Muni National Teachers College in Arua City.
To deliver her message verbatim. Seeing all education leaders countrywide gives me a great confidence that we are determined to improve access to equitable quality education in our country. We are living in a world that is constantly changing, and we must change with the world. The change agents who are here are the teachers that must be equipped to deliver the curriculum to facilitate the learners to fit into the changing world. Government is planning to introduce free and compulsory UPE effective next year, 2025. It's our hope that Ugandan shillings 309 billion to be injected in the education and sports sector. And this will address some of the challenges I mentioned above. This year, ladies and gentlemen, government coded 38 community schools, primary schools, and 46 secondary schools that were taken over by government. The plan for the next financial year is to take over 100 primary community schools. The guiding principle remains one primary school per parish. What can the DOs, the city EOs, the municipal education officers do to address the challenges of absenteeism, to address the challenges of dropouts? Is it being reflected in improvements in the learning outcomes? We acknowledge the challenges of inadequate infrastructure and fittings in terms of classrooms, teachers' houses, furniture, and wash facilities. It is important that funds allocated to local governments are effectively utilized by focusing on the neediest schools as government looks for more resources.
The annual diagnosis rate of breast cancer has escalated, placing unprecedented pressure on healthcare facilities. According to epidemiologist Dr. Harriet Babikako, this surge in breast cancer cases is causing a considerable burden on the nation's cancer treatment infrastructure. Details follow from Moko. Uganda is witnessing a substantial annual surge in breast cancer cases, a trend that is exerting immense pressure on healthcare facilities.
If you have 100 people, 7.8 of those cases are being identified every year. And so that's the incidence. So our facilities are overwhelmed. So that 7.8 turns out to be very many people if you multiply it by the number of women in the country. And given that we have 1 or 2 or 3 facilities, so all of those people, once they come into that facility, we will have challenges of space and everything.
The surge in breast cancer cases highlights the urgent need for enhanced medical infrastructure and awareness programs. The majority of the cases are being diagnosed at advanced stages, emphasizing the need for improved early detection and screening methods.
We have a lot of women who come in late, and so breast cancer is diagnosed very late in third and fourth stage, and this is a problem that leads to the women who have this breast cancer die because they come in late to us.
The prevalence of delayed diagnosis in Uganda female cancer patients has spurred epidemiologists at Makerere University to initiate a crucial campaign focused on fighting the disease through early detection.
The woman can be able to self-identify anything that is irregular or abnormal about her, and then she seeks care as early as possible. There are other ways to actually screen or find out if you have issues. So you need to visit your medical doctor or clinician every year, at least every once a year if you're above 45 years old.
In addition to advocating for self-examination techniques, the experts at Makerere University are urging women to undergo regular mammography screenings, further bolstering the fight against breast cancer.
We also recommend that you do a mammography, an approach that is the gold standard worldwide for all the women who are, for Uganda, the age category is from 35, because we are seeing cases of breast cancer starting from about 35 going on upwards, but in developed countries they have they are taking 45 and above.
Joseph Oko compiled this report.
Did you know that TB kills 30 Ugandans every day? However, the good news is that TB is preventable and curable if detected and treated early. World TB Day is commemorated on 24th of March every year. In Uganda, the national commemoration event will take place on Wednesday, the 27th of March 2024 at Chikagati Town Council, Isingiro District. Under the theme, Yes, we can end TB, beat leprosy. The chief guest will be the Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Robinah Nabbanja. Don't miss Health Camp, Street TB Bicycle Ride, School Debates, TB and leprosy screening at workplaces. For details, call our toll-free line 0800 100 66. Together, we can end TB. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from the Global Fund.
Attention everyone, the Ministry of Health has planned to vaccinate all persons aged 1 year to 60 years old to protect them against yellow fever disease. The mass vaccination will take place in 53 districts in these regions: Kampala, Buganda, Teso, Ankole and Karamoja. Vaccination is free and available at all government health facilities and outreach posts in these regions. The vaccination campaign will take place from April 2nd to April 8th, 2024. The vaccine is safe, effective and free of charge and has been approved by World Health Organization and Ministry of Health. This message is from Ministry of Health with support from Gavi.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. In our business stories, the Minister of Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Kaduchu, has challenged the youth to embrace technical education and skills development so as to build a formidable country with resourceful workforce. She was officiating the 25th graduation of Chigwomba Cooperatives College in Chiliadongo District. Minister Kaduchu said that skilling Ugandans, especially the youth, will end poverty and have a society of well-to-do communities. She said the Ministry of Education, with the new education curriculum, is focusing on job creation for every Ugandan through skilling. And over 500 youth were awarded diplomas and certificates in cooperatives and circle management.
Moved from Bukalasa Agricultural College, where it was sharing the facilities, to this place called Chigwomba, which has completely new structures, the best. However, the infrastructure was badly damaged, looted and devastated by the 1977 wars, liberation war. In 1981-86 is a struggle. Since peace returned to the country, the culture has all along been in the rehabilitation and innovation agenda, mainly of the infrastructure. I wish on behalf of the Governing Council and we wish of the cooperative movement to thank our NRM government for the innovation and rehabilitation so far achieved. Why not clap? According to what is on the ground, the journey to put this college to the level of 1974 and even better remains demanding. Honorable Minister Sir, we received the Uganda Petroleum Institute on our campus, nurtured it until the government built its own state-of-the-art institute. We embrace the old institute as a mother embraces the newly born baby.
As you are aware, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, is implementing the TVET reform agenda that is guided by the Technical Vocational Education and Training Policies, which was approved by Cabinet in 2019 as a measure to promote a demand-driven TVET system in order to improve the employability of our graduates. This is to bring to your attention that the policy, which is driven, have got a core objective. One is to promote economic relevance of TVET by bringing employers and business community together. Two, improving access and employability of TVET graduates by making TVET flexible and demand-driven. Three, improving the quality of TVET through reviewing curriculum-based and labor-based market needs and capacity building for trainers. Four, putting in place measures and plans for promoting adequate and sustainable TVET financial modality. Lastly, ensuring effective TVET management and organization through establishing the structure in TVET. The policy is for all of us, and I am calling upon everybody, especially our training institutions like UCC, Chigumba, to embrace and implement the policy accordingly so that we can improve the training outcome.
For you, represent the rest. I think that
The Minister of State for Cooperatives, Frederick Ngobi Gume, has admired the Korean Samuel Gwemsok model, citing its significant role in promoting financial inclusion in rural communities. He commended officials of Samuel for establishing more Gwemgos, also known as village banks, in Kalido District, Busoga. He also emphasized that the Korean model aligns well with the government's program for alleviating rural poverty. Anit Namatovu, the Vice Chairperson of Bongole Parish Mall Gwemgo in PG, encouraged the community to adopt the Samuel model to address financial concerns within the community.
In partnership with the Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives, the Uganda Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives organized a financial training session, Mau Gumgos, for communities in Nawaikoke, Bukamba, and Nansororo sub-counties. This initiative took place in Bulamoja, Northwest Constituency, Kalido District, in the Busoga sub-region. The main goal was to address poverty and stimulate rural community development through the establishment of Mau Gumgos, or village banks, among Balamogi community. Anit Namatovu, the Vice Chairperson of Bongole Parish Mau Gumgo in PG, explains.
They don't take it for granted that the poor cannot save. It's not only the rich that can save. By the poor, you can also save according to what you earn. And you save little.
The introduction of the Korean Samau Gumgos model in Bulamoja Northwest Constituency has been well received. It will significantly contribute to financial sustainability at the village and household levels. Minister of State for Cooperatives, Frederick Ngobi Gume, expressed support for the Mau Gumgos model and encouraged communities to adopt it, emphasizing its potential to create financial stability within households.
Because they should know the culture of cooperatives, the culture to save, this business of zenkolawo zendia bwe ziggwawo nga nebaka is no longer tolerable. You must get 100 shillings, save 20 for the future. Now, if you are 200 people in a village and you are saving 2,000 per week, that's quite a lot of money. So the capital must come from amongst ourselves. We are now not going to venture into commercial banks where people are giving you exorbitant interest rates.
Minister Gobi Gume said the Maugumgos model will help communities to uplift themselves from poverty and generate household incomes.
When you look at this aspect and you put it alongside the parish development model approach that the government is carrying on, this would be a very good area to capitalize on. So we want them to develop from the VS, the village saving groups, to a certain organized group where they are recognized.
Officials from the Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives and the Uganda Federation of Maugumgos Community Credit Cooperatives were pleased to see a significant number of women embracing the Samaugumgum model. Sodat Kaye and Robert Boita, UBC News.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Welcome back to UBC News Tonight. And in our sports stories, the recent success of the 13th African Games has re-energized government's desire to embark on a thorough talent identification and development process. Now, this has been highlighted by National Council of Sports General Secretary Dr. Patrick Ogwa.
The African Games that have climaxed in Ghana have confirmed that sports made in Uganda is really alive. For starters, Uganda finished with the 20 medals, which placed the nation 13th overall, which is the best ever performance in the history of the Games. But because success at such a stage comes with demand from the public for better results, National Council of Sports has set out a deliberate plan to advise parents to interest their children into sport in order to grow numbers starting early.
As we move forward, we want to encourage the parents to ensure that they give opportunity to their children to participate in sport. Because overall, at all levels, primary, secondary, Uganda has proved to be having the best talent in Africa. We have won several accolades in the regional and continental and international competitions organized by the Secondary School or Post-Primary Association, Sports Association, as well as the Primary Sport Association. Needless to say, that when you put all this consistently together and have a strategic direction that support the ecosystem of development of the sport overall, will turn this country to be a sport destination for the entire world.
Such an initiative will only take root with the involvement of education institutions like St. Savio Junior School.
The kids demonstrated values. Even those who are losing were not actually withdrawing, but they were persevering up to the finishing point. What we drew from that is that it's only those who remain in the race that can become champions. But even when you don't become a champion, you don't need to withdraw. So that value of perseverance is very critical at such a tender age.
Here, learners are strictly adhere to the extracurricular activity programs with engagement in sports like bicycle riding, running and football, in which they have exhibited skills during the 2024 Sports Day.
We started with the football. Mulumba scored 8 points. Wanga 16 points. Mbaga and Mugaga tied with 20 points each. So Kizito became the best. So the champions for football is Kizito House.
Over 50 million is required by Rotaract to provide support to children diagnosed with cancer at Mulego Cancer Institute. Rotaract has organized Rotaract Corporate Football League, where over 100 Rotaract clubs have participated. Now, the organizers of the league are optimistic that such projects can support communities for a change.
On supporting children with cancer, this is something we intend to do for a very, very long time. We are supporting the children with cancer in partnership with UCCF, that is the Uganda Child Cancer Foundation, which is in Mulago. And yes, we've been there, we've visited the place, we've done needs assessment, we've tried to understand what it is, to support those kind of children. And we also got to know that some of these children actually pass on because they just don't have transport to go back, for reviews at the center. And we intend to have it every month, every one Sunday of every month, until we raise our target of 50 million shillings to support these children.
As we may all be aware, there are so many children who get cancer in Uganda, but a few of them actually get diagnosed. And even those who get diagnosed, they still face a lot of challenges. And these challenges range from psychosocial to medical. And psychosocial, you're talking about things to do with transport, nutrition, you're talking about basic needs, toiletries, even the parents, mothers lack sanitary towels. So the partnership with Rotaract really is to try and meet some of these needs that exist. And like I said, range from psychosocial to medical.
As Nile Breweries, we are rooted in the community. From our value chain, working with farmers, but also to the decisions we make about partnering with private sector and I mean people like Rotaract Corporate League. We do commit to work together them more so they can cause change in the communities that we all lead.
And that's all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sharon Chomdusha with Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language. Do join me again at 10 p.m. for more news coming your way.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
March is the month of film magic as the Uganda Communications Commission brings you the regional film competition. Experience the excitement across Uganda. Northern region in Moroto from the 4th to the 8th of March. Eastern region in Jinja from the 11th to the 15th of March. Central region in Mitiana from the 18th to the 22nd of March. Western region in Kasese from the 24th to the 27th of March. Come and watch some of the best films made by your very own creative minds on their way to stardom. Follow and support the different nominees as they battle for top